everybody, my name's Michelle and this is my channel Sewing Bunny. Thank you so much for joining me in my video today, which is my review of the Itch to Stitch Sibiu top. So I am wearing it now. I will give you a much better view in a moment. I just want to go over a few little bits of the pattern first and then I can give you some twirls. So yeah, this is in association with Felicity Fabrics. I'm part of the Felicity Fabrics blogger team, so that means every now and again they will let me pick a fabric of my choice from the website for free in exchange for a review of what I have made. And this one is extra special because I am doing a joint blog post with the lovely Liz from The Baker That Sews. So we're doing a blog post over on the Felicity Fabrics website, but I wanted to do a separate review on my YouTube channel as well. So at the moment, I have absolutely no idea what Liz has made. So I will find out when the blog post comes out, which I'm not sure where this video is going out. It might have already been out or it may be coming out. But yeah, I'll put in the description box below if the blog post is out and where you can find it. If not, I will let you know possibly on my Instagram when that has gone live. So yes, the Sibiu jumper. So there are a few variations that you can make of this jumper. I will insert a picture of the stock photo. So it is a batwing jumper ultimately, and you can make it in a few different variations. So I have gone for the cowl neck, long sleeved, raglan sort of cutout version. You can also combine a lot of different details. You can do the cowl neck, you can do a standard crew neck, you can do this cutout on the raglan sleeve, or you can leave it blank and just do it as a standard, with the same fabric. You don't even need to do like a cutout. You can do long sleeve or you can do a shorter sleeve. There's lots of different variations with this pattern. And what I really liked about it especially was because of the colour blocking opportunities. So that's why I picked this. So ultimately, the sort of challenge that myself and Liz were set was to make a nice jumper because we are coming into winter and we wanted something cuddly and cozy. So we came up with the idea of doing sort of cozy jumpers. So I saw this pattern and I thought, yes, it'd be absolutely perfect. And then when Felicity Fabrics said what some of their new fabrics coming out were these lovely sweatshirtings. So you've got this beautiful sort of lilac sweatshirting and this grey, which is called anthracite. And it's kind of almost like a slaty, purpley grey. And when Felicity Fabrics sent me the picture of the fabrics, they did them in like a stack. And I saw these two fabrics next to each other. And I just instantly was like, oh, they look lovely together. I'd love to do a colour block using those two fabrics. So yeah, I asked for both of the fabrics to create the jumper. And I'm so pleased with it. I do believe Liz has used this lilac sweatshirting for her make. So I can't wait to see what she's done. So before I show you the details, obviously a bit further back and everything, I do just want to go over just a little bit about the pattern, what size I made, what my thoughts were and everything first. So first off, when I saw this pattern, as you can probably see from the stock photo, it doesn't look necessarily like an oversized jumper. It looks reasonably fitted. So I wanted to be a little bit careful with what size I was making because I don't want a jumper that is too fitted. I actually wanted more of a, say, like a cuddly sort of jumper. So I did want something maybe that was a little bit bigger. So I had a look at the size range, and with Itch to Stitch patterns, I am a variety of sizes. So much so, I've got my laptop open so I can sort of actually go through the size range for this jumper. I'll see if I can insert it somewhere on the screen for you. But my body measurements are, I am a 37-inch bust, I'm a 32-inch waist, and I'm a 43-inch hip. So by the body measurements from the pattern, I would fit into a size 6 at the bust. I would fit into, there's no waist measurement, so it'd be the hip. I fit into the 12 to 14 at the hip. So I'm anywhere between an 8 and a 14. So it was quite difficult for me to know which pattern to cut, size to cut, because usually if I would say make a dress or a top, I usually go by my bust measurement mainly. But because this is a jumper with a bottom band, I wanted to make sure that it was okay over my hips, because I didn't want it stretching over my hips. So I looked at the finished garment measurements on here, and again, I'll see if I can bring those up on screen. So it literally gives you the finished garment measurement for your hip. It doesn't tell you about your bust. So for the hip, because I'm a 43-inch hip, I needed to make sure that it went over my hips. And the finished garment measurement for a 43 was the size 14. So I was a bit worried going, well, is that going to be okay going over my hips because they are 43? But then I thought I didn't want to go any larger than that, because otherwise I would have so much room everywhere else. So I decided to go for the size 14 because I wanted to make sure that it fit over my hips. And it does. It's absolutely fine. I must admit it probably is a little bit bigger than I would like over the bust. But being a batwing style jumper, I think I can totally get away with it. As I say, I wanted it to be reasonably sort of snug and everything like that. So I don't mind the fact that it is a little bit oversized in the bodice, but it does mean that it fits me in the hips. Now, yes, I could have graded sizes, and you know what? If I was to make this again in maybe a lighter weight fabric, I probably would grade. I'd probably make it smaller at the bust. So I'd probably grade maybe more from maybe a 10 to a 14 maybe, just because I think that would probably be a bit of a nicer fit just for me. So yeah, that's the size that I made. So I made the straight size 14. The instructions were great. I didn't struggle at any point. The instructions were really, really clear. What I love about this pattern is that if you have an overlocker, you don't even need to get your sewing machine out. 100% of this can be done on the overlocker without your sewing machine. Yes. So if you don't have an overlocker, don't worry, you can do it all on the sewing machine, no problem. It will be just as beautiful, but it's just an overlocker. It just makes it so quick and easy. So yeah, I was really impressed. Yeah, I just literally needed one machine for the job. So fabulous. So with the fabric requirements that you need for this pattern, it doesn't just say for the whole project you need X amount of yards or meters. It's actually broken up into different sort of sections depending on the style that you want to make and your size, which, you know, is great. It means you don't need to, you know, kind of necessarily buy too much fabric. So you just have to be a little bit careful. If you do want to make a certain style, then you'll just need to calculate exactly what you need. So just for example, again, I'm just looking down at my laptop here. For the main bodice for a size 14, it says you need 1.5 meters. So, but that is just for the main bodice. If you want to make the cowl neck, you have to add on 50 centimeters. If you wanted the short cuff, you need an extra 20 centimeters. If you want the long cuff, you need an extra 50 centimeters. And if you want to do the shoulder inserts, then you need, again, another 50 centimeters. So potentially, you know, it could reasonably quite a fabric hungry pattern. You'd probably need over 2 meters just for, I say, my size, the size 14. But what I kind of worked out was that I would probably need, for my cowl neck and the main bodice, I'd probably need just shy of 2 meters. So I asked Felicity Fabrics for 1.8 meters of this anthracite colour. And then I asked for 50 centimeters of this lilac colour, because I knew that the 50 centimeters, obviously that is the width that you need for these sections. But because of the length of the fabric, I knew I'd have a little bit more on there. So I thought I could get my sleeve section out of that 50 centimeters as well. And absolutely bang on, 50 centimeters for this, and this came out of the pattern, came out of the fabric perfectly. My 1.8 meters for the anthracite, I squeezed it on 1.8, and I do mean it, properly squeezed it on 1.8. So I would recommend, if you are making a similar size to me, that if you are going to do exactly the version I've done, that you would want 50 centimeters for your coordinating fabric, and I would play it safe and have 2 meters of your main fabric, because yeah, if you allow for shrinkage and things as well, then yeah, I say I found it very tight doing 1.8. I went right up to the lines on it. If you weren't doing the contrast, then actually you could probably just do 2 meters of everything, because you don't need to do these or these on the fold. So it means you can use a higher bit of the fabric at the top, because a lot of the other stuff is on the fold. So I hope that sort of helps. So if you want to kind of make a plain version without the contrast, then yep, I would say you'd need at least 2 meters. And if you want to make the coordinating, I'd say you'd need 2 meters of the main and 1/2 centimetre for the extras. So I hope that helps with that. So I'm losing light a little bit at the moment because I am recording this in the afternoon. So I'm hoping you'll be able to see all of the details. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand on my stool, put the camera a little bit further back, and I can show you all of the details. Okay, so I have adjusted the camera a little bit more, so I'll stand up on my stool and show you some of the details. But just before I do, I'll just go over the cowl neck. So when you make up the cowl neck, this is actually folded in half. If I unfold it, this is how deep it is. So if you didn't want to fold it in half, so say for instance you were having a nice winter walk somewhere or something like that, it's absolutely lovely just to be able to bring it up over your ears, really nice and cozy. I mean, I am going to be wearing it like this all the time. Whenever I go out for like my winter walks, I'm going to be properly snuggled. It is so nice and cozy. But just for sort of every day, then I would say, yep, you want to fold it in half. Let's see if I can make it a bit neater. And I really like the fact that it kind of stands out from the jumper. I think that is very, very nice. If you were to use maybe something like a sweater knit or a jersey or something, then you could potentially, it would be nice and sort of actually a bit more of a cowl neck where it would kind of drape a little bit. But I actually quite like having it with a little bit of structure on there. I just think it looks really nice. So yeah, let me stand on the stool so you can see the rest of it. So I will be sort of cutting off my head a little bit. So yeah, if I stand up here, this is the overall look of it. So you can see that it is a batwing because it has that sort of curve. And how the pattern is done is it is a grown on sleeve. So if you weren't doing these inserts, the whole pattern piece would just be a complete grown on sleeve. Whereas if you want to do these inserts, you have like this raglan piece that you cut out and you insert the colour. And I think that is such a pretty design. I think it's so, so nice. So yeah, that is those sections at the top, and then you've got the cuffs. So if you wanted to do the short version, then the cuff piece is much shorter. It's probably about here. So you'd find that if you didn't want something long sleeved, that you'd be able to kind of almost do it like that sort of rolled up effect. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about when I was doing the pattern is on my fabric, this sleeve pattern piece, it said the grain line should be one way, but when I actually stretched my fabric, I found I had a better stretch going on the cross grain. So I actually cut out the sleeve pieces not on the grain, actually on the cross grain. And that is just purely because if I did it the other way, I wouldn't have been able to, this bit would not have been as stretchy. It would have been stretchy this way, and you can see there is much less stretch that way than this way. So it means that I can roll up my sleeves if I want to. If I'd done it the other way, I honestly think it would have been a lot more difficult to have pulled my sleeves up. So that's why I've done that. So that is just one thing to be aware of. I would personally, whichever way is your stretchiest way, is cut it there. So your stretch is going out. I hope that makes sense. So yes, I love the two colours. I love the shape of it. Now, as I say, I was a bit worried because I wanted to make sure that the bottom band here fit over my hips, which it does perfectly. I'm sorry, I'm just not quite tall enough on there, but you can see there. And I do actually have quite a bit of room. So potentially I could size down. However, I don't think I'd want to size down much here. It is quite a nice loose fit. You can kind of see if I actually pull where my waist is, that is actually where I am there. So it is quite a loose fit, but I actually quite like it. Potentially, yeah, I could maybe size down a little bit here because it is very, very roomy up here. And you can kind of see there's quite a lot of fabric going on here. So I think I probably would size down on the top, but then grade to the 14 on the hip. And actually that might give me quite a nice shape because it would come in a little bit more and then go out to the 14. So actually could potentially give me a bit more of a curve, maybe kind of going in. I hope that sort of makes sense. But yeah, that is it. Turn around. That is the Sibiu jumper. So I really hope that that helped if you did want to make the jumper, but you maybe weren't too sure about it. Let me know what you think. Have you made the jumper? I'd love to know. Or are you interested in it? Is it something that you would like to make? I would love to know. Also, if you do like any of these fabrics or any fabrics on the Felicity Fabrics website, I do have a discount code that you can use as many times as you like. And I will link that in the description box down below. You just need to use Michelle10 at checkout. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you did enjoy, please do give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, it would be lovely if you could. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.